That's where I see people struggling. They say, I'm gonna meal prep, I'm gonna be prepared, and then they don't do it. Things will always come up. You will never have time. You have to make time. And that's hard, right? But again, this is where that self-care and self-love comes in. If you know you're doing it for your future self, for your health. Did you see that? If you know you're doing it for your future self, that will, help you stay committed. And the more you keep the promises to yourself, the more you start to get confidence in your abilities. And when you say you'll do something, you'll actually do it. All right, I just got back from doing my Sunday shopping prep for the week, and let me show you what I got. First of all, I'm about to get my period. So this is my favorite yummy thing to snack on. It's salted caramel popcorn. I like to believe it's healthy-ish, and they say eat like a little bowl of it, but I usually eat a whole bag. But YOLO. But let's go to the healthy stuff. So what was on my list? By the way, find your list of what you need for this meal prep below. Just click on it and it'll give you a little list that you can bring to your supermarket so you know what to get. So I got some arugula, some fresh herbs. I got basil and cilantro. I got my favorite coconut yogurt, a regular natural flavor and vanilla flavor. I got some almond milk, a cucumber, and chia seeds. This is something you don't have to buy every time, but I was out of my chia seeds. I'm gonna use them to prep my chia pudding. Then I got some gluten-free cookies, just great for before a workout or something, pre-workout snack. We won't really need this for the meal prep. And some granola, same. You won't really need this for the meal prep, but I like to have this in my closet. Some rice, again, this is something you don't have to buy every single week. It's just I simply ran out. Some oats, same thing, I ran out. Usually this lasts me for about 2 or 3 weeks, one bag. And some corn, and then I also have bought more veggies here, some zucchini, a bell pepper, Brussels sprouts, an eggplant, and onion. There's gonna be some other things on the list that you need to buy that I just already had. Like I already had black beans. That's about it actually. So get ready for the meal prep. It is Sunday. We're gonna get this thing in and out. You can do this with me. Just pause it whenever you need to. And this will ensure that you just have everything you need ready in your fridge. And honestly, when I do this, I'm so much more prepared and I just eat healthier because it's easier, right? You already have cooked the rice, you already have most of the chopped veggies. I already even roast my veg, so I don't have to do that anymore. And honestly, I just mix and match and put together what I feel like that day. You can be a little more planned out, a little less planned out. It really helps. I know the weeks that I don't do this, since I teach late evenings quite often, I'm a yoga and fitness teacher, I'll get home and end up putting like a gluten-free vegan pizza in the oven and top it with arugula, which is fine once in a while, but it's not what you really want to be eating on a regular basis, especially if you work out a lot and you want to stay healthy and fuel your body. So download that list, go to the supermarket, then come back and let's do this. Woo! All right, it's time to get to the actual meal prepping now. I just went for a walk with family. On Sundays, I love getting some family time in, but now I'm home, I'm here, and I wanna get this done. So I have set myself up for success this week and for some healthy food that I can easily just grab and continue on with my day. So what am I gonna make? I'm gonna make a couple of chia puddings. I'm gonna make some protein balls. I'm gonna make a corn and black bean salad that I can prepare. I'm gonna prepare some rice and quinoa separately that I can add on things to. I'm gonna make a cauliflower and broccoli curry soup. And we're gonna roast a ton of vegetables so we can build our bowls, whether it's a quinoa bowl, a rice bowl, or a salad bowl. And we're also gonna make some pesto, some plant-based pesto. All of this is gonna be plant-based, by the way. First thing to start with to save time is to put on the oven. And we're gonna boil 2 pots of water for the quinoa and the rice. All right, let's start cutting some vegetables. I have my pretty cutting plank and my ugly cutting plank. I need to buy a new pretty one that's bigger because this one is cute, but it's so small, right? I also need to invest in better cutting knives, but hey, at least I have these little ones now. But they're not great quality, so it's definitely on my to-do list. You're also gonna grab a big bowl for the soup. A big pan, pot, whatever it's called. For the soup, I'm gonna keep it really simple. I'm gonna put some diced onions in there. Then I'm gonna use frozen vegetables. Frozen vegetables sometimes have a bad rep, but they're actually really great because as soon as they get harvested, they immediately get frozen. So a lot of the vitamins get preserved. Some say that they are better for you than vegetables that aren't frozen that you buy in the supermarket because they have traveled, whether by boat or by truck or whatever, made their way to the supermarket, then they're in the supermarket for a few days. So a lot of people actually say that frozen is better. So I kind of do a mix just because my acupuncturist once said, if you only eat frozen veggies, you don't get the energy of the vegetables. I don't know if that's true, but so now I tend to mix it up because I used to only eat frozen vegetables actually, of course, in my sauces, in my soups, because it's so much easier, it saves a lot of time, and because I heard they have more vitamins, but I try to mix it up a little bit now. But for the soup, I'm gonna use frozen cauliflower and frozen broccoli. I'm gonna use maybe a quarter onion for this soup, and the rest of the onion, I think I only have 1 onion left, so I'm not gonna use it all. I'm gonna use the rest for my other food. I'll add some in the oven dish, and I'll add some, yeah, that's it, just to the oven dish. So I'll just do half. And of course, make sure you washed your hands before doing this. Now I'm thinking, did I wash my hands? Yes, I did. By the way, one of my waters is already boiling, so let's add the rice to that. This rice is gonna take 12 minutes. Sometimes I like using those measured out baggies because you just know how much it's gonna be, but basically you just use a cup for this. It's less plastic waste. I'm also left-handed, so for some reason, none of these scissors work for me. I don't know where my left-handed scissor is. I need to look for it. So let's grab a cup to measure it out. I want the rice to last me for about a week. I'm probably gonna eat it a couple times a week, so let's do 2 or 3 cups. You just measure it out. Let's do 2. I feel like that's already a lot. That was 250 grams because this is 500 grams. And then I'll also have the quinoa to choose from. So then I can do 2 nights rice, 2 nights quinoa. And then there's probably gonna be a night that I eat out, right? So, okay, the rice is cooking. So let's put on the timer. Where's my phone? Set timer for 12 minutes. And then oh, I just spilled the quinoa everywhere. This always happens to me. I need to start taking it out of the bags and putting it in the pretty containers, which I have. I just forget to do. Let's also do 2 cups of quinoa. All right, the quinoa has to cook for 13 minutes. So we'll do it 2 minutes longer than the rice. I put some diced onion in the pan for the soup already. We're gonna add the frozen veggies to that now. So I have cauliflower and broccoli that I already used before. Okay, that was more cauliflower than expected. So we're not gonna add too much broccoli, but let's add a little bit, just so we have some variety. Great, and we still have some left for later. Okay, so the rice, the quinoa are cooking. Our cauliflower, broccoli, and onion are on the fire as well. Now let's prep some veggies to put in the oven. I have 2 oven pans. So let's start with this half onion. So usually what I like to do when I cook and meal prep or cook at any time really is listen to a podcast or watch a YouTube video. Or I'll call up a friend, catch up with them. I have quite a few friends that lived abroad because I used to live abroad, so that's when I love to FaceTime people, just catch up, send long voice messages, you know how it goes, right? So for my veggies, I have some variety because you want to eat about 30 different types of vegetables and whole foods per week. 30, that's quite a lot, so we try to aim for that. I have eggplant, carrots, Brussels sprouts, and zucchini. I don't know if I'm gonna use all of that, but let's see where we go. For the soup, by the way, you don't have to let it completely defrost. We're just gonna add water, put on a lid, and let it boil. Let's do that now. So I'm just gonna fill up the kettle. I don't have another spot to heat it up on, so I'm just gonna pour it in cold and it'll get to boiling, right? So these Brussels sprouts have come pre-packaged and ready to go. I'm glad. So I'm assuming I don't have to wash them anymore. We're still gonna do that just to be sure. Alrighty. These are not pan ready, by the way. I still see some dirt on them. So you gotta look sometimes before you listen to what the packaging says. Let's see, am I gonna put these in the big one? I'm gonna put these in the, not sure if that's a good idea to put them all in here. I'm gonna put some in there and some in here just so I have a little more space. Because I feel like they're not all gonna get the right amount of attention and love if I put them in here. All right, what else do we have? Let's add the eggplant. I love a good eggplant. I never used to be a huge eggplant fan, but the older I get, the more I enjoy it. So I'm just gonna take off the ends and I'm gonna make little slices like this. So with a lot of this healthy habits and lifestyle stuff is just being prepared. If you are prepared, if you have the food in your house, the healthy variations for snacks, for your dinners, whatever it is, you're just gonna help your future self. So whenever you do something like meal prepping, it really is an act of self-love, of self-care, and your future self will thank you. And of course, it's not always possible to prep. It's not always possible to be prepared, but just do this the best that is possible and within reach, really. Planning and preparation makes everything so much easier. All right, let's add these in here. And then let's cut up a courgette, as we call it, AKA zucchini. We want to give our body all those yummy vegetables, all the fibers, the vitamins, the nutrients that it needs to feel good, to feel healthy, to feel supported. Sometimes my clients ask me, like, I don't have any energy, what's happening? And then I ask them, like, okay, well, have you eaten today? Quite often people skip meals, they forget to eat, and then what they eat isn't necessarily the best for them, right? Everybody is different, everyone has different needs. What is important is that you learn to figure out what your body likes, what your body needs, what your body and you get optimal energy from. So again, it's different for everyone. Some people need more food, less food. Some people, love certain types of veggies, and sometimes you're sensitive to it. Honestly, my life, my energy levels changed ever since I cut gluten or avoid it as much as I can. I'm not at all about restricting, but that's the rice. I'm not at all about restricting, but I got tested and I have a sensitivity to gluten. And since I eliminated it, my energy levels are crazy. My bowel movements are completely different. I look different. I didn't lose any weight or anything, but people keep telling me that it looks like I lost weight. I think I was a little bit swollen from inflammation. I don't know, it's weird. And I definitely did not cut it, or I'm not restricting it for any visual outlooks, because I've always loved the way I looked, but it's been an interesting side effect that people say that it looks like I lost weight, but it's just been de-swelling from the inflammation. All right, let's finish this one and then let's check on the rice. I'm gonna turn off the rice and just let it sit a bit. And the quinoa had to be 3 minutes longer, so we're gonna let that on. And for some reason, my soup turned off. So I hope I turned it on again. I can switch these ones from station. Let's do that. All right, so I have eggplant, zucchini, some Brussels sprout, and half an onion, more Brussels sprout here. Let's add these 2 carrots. So another tip for food prep really is multitasking. So you make sure when you start, you put that oven on, you boil the water first, that you just make use of your time most effectively as you can. It's just, the best. And then sauce-wise, lately I've been really enjoying to keep it simple. Just, some nice olive oil, some salt and pepper and herbs. And also homemade pesto is something I've been obsessed with lately. I'll just buy fresh basil and blend it with pine nuts. And if I don't have pine nuts, or pine nuts are quite expensive, instead I'll add other nuts like walnuts or cashews, whatever I can find that day, or sunflower seeds, and I'll add them instead. And what else do I add? I add nutritional yeast, which is the replacement for the cheese. So that makes it plant-based. You use nutritional yeast, olive oil, salt and pepper, and that's it. And you have amazing homemade plant-based pesto. So let's make that as well. Maybe at home, you're cooking there with me. You're right alongside of me. You're doing such a good job. If you have an extra oven pan that you can, carrot, that you can put the carrots in, you could. This one is pretty big, so I'm just gonna throw it all in. You could also slide the carrots in half and put long slices of carrots in there, which is really fun as well. And I hope you have a better knife than me. But that just goes to show you don't need good equipment to be healthy. You can do it. All you need is the energy and the dedication, the commitment, the determination. And you just keep the promises you make to yourself and actually do something when you say you're gonna do it. That's the main part. I love a good raw carrot. So we got carrot, eggplant, zucchini, and Brussels sprouts. Now let's add some olive oil and some herbs to this. Herbs and spices, which in Belgium means salt and pepper. It's about time to also turn the quinoa off, by the way. Don't forget. That looks great, turning it off. I always feel fancy when I pour olive oil. I don't know why. And on the Brussels sprouts too. I put the oven to 190 degrees Celsius. I will have to check how much that is in Fahrenheit. I'll put it on the screen. And you can get very specific which veggie needs to go in when. I'm just gonna pop them both in, keep an eye on them, stab my fork in them, and let you know how long I leave them in. Probably it's gonna be somewhere between 20 and 40 minutes. Add some pepper. I am obsessed with white pepper lately. I just feel like it's a slightly different flavor, which I really enjoy. And I'm gonna keep my other herbs for my other dishes, I think. Let me double check, what else do I have here? I You know what? Let's add some garlic. I have real garlic here somewhere, but I didn't use it. And some thyme, because I do really enjoy thyme as well. Ooh, that was a lot. All right, let's pop it in the oven. Beady, beady, beady. See if we can put them next to each other. Success. Here we have our quinoa, which is ready. We have our rice that's ready. Looks really good. And then our soup, going slow and steady. Let's tidy our station a little bit, put on an alarm. The rest of the veggies go back in the fridge. I'm sure I forgot some veggies that I wanted to make. Oh yeah, see, I have a bell pepper I wanted to use, but we can use that raw in a salad. Oh yeah, I'm making a corn and black bean salad with cilantro. Let's do that first before we begin with the sweet stuff. So we need the bell pepper, we'll need the cilantro. All right, for the black bean salad, we're gonna keep it really simple. You can eat this as a little side dish with dinner or with your lunch, or just add a bunch of salad to it and you make it like a kind of Mexican salad for lunch or dinner. Oh, and what I love to do is then top it with corn chips. All right, so I'm just gonna put it straight in this little container. We have corn. Sometimes, guys, healthy food does not have to be hard. All of this is really simple. Sometimes we shy away from it because we're not sure where to start. The real answer or the real thing is you just have to start. It's not hard, you just have to do it. So I'm using corn from a can, black beans from a can, give them a rinse first, and then let's put them together. And then I'm gonna cut up a red bell pepper and add it. Wash it first, get those pesticides off. If you can buy organic, great, but if you can't, still better to eat the vegetable than not. Cut off the head. Off with her head. Yes, I just made that joke. We're gonna try to make it nice in little pieces. I have a friend who always judges my cutting skills. I honestly don't care what my food looks like. I just care what it tastes like and that it's healthy and that it's quick. But she takes very long. She slices it and dices it very correctly. And you know, when I do mine, I'm like, chuck, 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 and it's all sizes, all shapes, all forms. And judge me. Judge me if you want. But if you are like that and you like to dice finely, then take your time, of course. But I'm all about efficiency, about productivity, and about getting shit done. So, I mean, when I look at this, I feel like it's cut pretty well. And we're just gonna add that in here. So it's a little raw side salad or whatever, base for a salad, whatever you wanna call it. And that's it. Then we're just gonna add a shit ton of cilantro, AKA coriander. And if you are like some part of the population that cilantro tastes like soap for, then you just skip the cilantro. You could add another herb like maybe parsley. I think parsley might be nice with this. So you just add parsley or you skip it. Then we grab the cilantro. We're gonna give it a rinse. I was gonna use part of it, but then also I know myself and I'm never gonna use the rest of this package. So I think I'm just gonna throw it all in. Actually, no, I'm gonna put part of it in the soup that I'm making. Let me do that now. Part of it goes into the soup, the other part is gonna go in. There we go. So that's in the soup. And the other part of the cilantro goes in the little salad here. Salad base, side salad, snack, whatever you're gonna use it for. There we go. And I'm not gonna put any olive oil or anything on it yet, but then when you eat it, just add some olive oil, some salt and pepper, and this is your little yummy dish, okay? I'm just gonna put the head on it, and that's already that dish done. Ooh, I love this. This feels great. It's a little on the full side. Now let's tidy up a little bit. A good chef always cleans and tidies during when they cook. I'm not a good chef, so I'm usually not like that, but I'm doing my best for you to show you that we can grow, we can learn, we can evolve. What is next on the list? Protein balls, chia pudding. I was also gonna make the pesto. All right, I was gonna make the pesto. For that, there's another video where I make spaghetti squash where I make this pesto, so you could always take a look at that. We're gonna be really quick, although today I couldn't find walnuts in the supermarket. I mean, I did, but I went on a Sunday, so it's not the usual supermarket I go to. And I found the walnuts where I was very expensive. So in my regular store, they're not that much. So today I'm making it with cashews. So I have my handful of basil. We're gonna wash it first, add it in. Then we have our nutritional yeast. Put a good amount. So this is what replaces the Parmesan, and it has a lot of vitamin B12. There's protein in it. It's really good for you. Add a bunch of olive oil, and then a handful about of cashews. And let's also add some sunflower seeds. In the meantime, I can see that the soup is boiling, so let's leave it on boil for a little longer. Also add some salt and pepper and some garlic. Maybe a teaspoon or just a smidge of water to make it a little more runny. And let's blend it. I also, sometimes when I can't find fresh basil, I make it with frozen basil, and it works just as well. Grand. I'm gonna put that in a little pot. Ooh, it smells amazing, if I say so myself. So then during the week, you can, add this to your grilled vegetables on top of the rice or on the quinoa. Just use it as a sauce for whatever. You could also really, to be honest, use it as a sandwich topping, or a dip. Maybe you dip your corn chips in it, or you spread it out on a sandwich or something like that. So all of what I'm making today is plant-based, gluten-free, so it's all healthy stuff. And if you have any sensitivities or allergies, most likely you'll be able to eat all of this. I will be honest, I think it's yummier with walnuts instead of cashews, but it still works. All right, we're gonna make one of my favorite snacks, protein balls. So easy, so simple. We're not gonna blend them, we're gonna use our hands. You need oats. I grab organic oats because apparently the pesticides on oats can be pretty intense or bad. I forgot the word for it. But try to get organic oats. They're so cheap anyways. And they're good for you. I'm gonna grab chocolate protein powder. I use plant-based protein powder from Women's Best. I'm gonna grab some dates that I still have laying around, and some hemp seeds right here. And then you just need a bowl that you can make them in. As you might have noticed, I don't do any measuring or any type of that stuff. I don't follow any recipes. I kind of just see what I have, throw it together, and hope it turns out good. And to be honest, usually it does. So for the protein balls, we're gonna add some organic oats. Let's not forget our soup, guys. It's probably almost time to turn it off, add coconut milk, etc. We'll come to that back later. So we have our oats, we have hemp seeds, we add protein powder, a nice big scoop, maybe a little more because I'm gonna make a couple. I'm gonna cut up some dates. Every time I eat dates, I'm so surprised at how sweet and delicious they are. They really are nature's candy. Where's my little knife? So you just want to be aware of the pits inside of it. I usually kind of cut it in half and then pull it open, grab it out, and then cut it in little pieces. So if you blend it, which I could, I do have a blender, but I wanted to keep it easy for you. You could skip this step and just throw it in and blend it. But let's, for my people that don't want to use a blender, do it this way. And please have a taste of that date. This is really good, by the way, to eat before a workout. If you're doing like a long intensity run, a long bike ride, really intense workout, and you want some fast sugars, have a date. So good. So I like to have protein balls before or after workout, just as a snack when I'm hungry and it's not time to eat yet. Of course, they are pretty high. You know, they're very filling. So I would not suggest to eat more than 2 in a sitting, but you know, 1 or 2 as a snack or as a pre-workout, great. And then we're gonna add a nut butter. I think I only have peanut butter today, but if you have another butter like cashew butter, you could throw that in. If you have any type of butter, almond butter. I'm not eating that much peanut butter lately because I was obsessed with it. And then when I did that sensitivity test, peanuts came out and she said sometimes you can eat something so much that your body starts thinking you're sensitive to it or you're allergic to it even though you're not. So I actually haven't had peanut butter in a long time, but I'm out of my other nut butter and I forgot to buy it. So I'm gonna add it in. Make sure if you use a nut butter that it's 100% those nuts. So like this is 100% peanut butter. Quite often brands like to add palm oil just because it's cheaper for them, but it's not good for you. So just make sure you read the label and that it's 100% cashew, 100% whatever. So I'm doing a big scoop just because I'm making a lot. This is a 100% peanut butter from Women's Best as well. And then we're gonna start rolling. And the trick to rolling is you wanna squeeze. Well, first let's mix it together. Okay, I'm gonna need to use this whole bowl of peanut butter. That's how much I'm making. And there we go. Now let's start making little balls. Let's see if it's still a little dry. I'm just gonna add a little dash of water. Oh, you know what I also don't have that would make it yummy and crunchy? Cacao nibs. But you know, I put the chocolate protein powder in here, so it's gonna be good. Oh yeah, the water helped. So add a little dash of water if you need to. And then let's start making balls. I don't know why I giggled. So you can make big, you can make them small, it doesn't really matter. If you wanna keep them for a longer amount of time, you can also put them in, my dog is looking at me like, is that for me? You can also put them in the freezer if you wanna keep them for a longer amount of time. They should stay good for, I would say, 5 to 7 days. If you disagree, put it in the comments. At least 3 to 4 days. But I think sometimes if they're frozen, if they're in a jar, if they're in the fridge, not frozen, if they're in the fridge and they're in a closed container, I think they should stay good for the whole week. I'm making them pretty big, so I'm actually not gonna get that many out of this portion that I made. But so in the morning when I'm in a rush before a workout, I often teach early morning classes. Usually I'll have oatmeal before, but now I know that if I can't or don't have time, I can grab a protein ball, or often I teach an early morning class, a group class, and then right after I go and teach private classes, then I know I can put a protein ball in my bag to go, and I can have that in between. Just so I don't get hungry later in the day and have a binge session because I just didn't eat enough, right? Often if we binge, it's just because we didn't nourish ourselves enough earlier on in the day. And of course, emotional stuff as well. Give it a good squeeze. Get all that anger out as you squeeze in this stress ball. If you want to be really perfectionist, you could always wrap them up in like one a piece in some plastic foil. But you don't have to do that. We got 7 good protein balls out of that. So that will last me about 3 to 4 days, I would say. Success. Okay, so we're gonna mix the soup. We're gonna finish the soup. We're gonna mix it or blend it. We're gonna add coconut cream, curry, and that's it, and blend it. And then we're gonna just let it cool down. Maybe I'll have some of that for dinner tonight, actually. Then we're gonna put the rice and the quinoa away and the veggies. Let's start doing that. Ooh, you guys, I'm so excited. Let's see, where are we? We've been at this for about an hour, so I think we're gonna get this done in just under an hour and 15 minutes, which I think is pretty good to have food for 3 to 5 days, right? So let's do the soup. Let me show you what it looks like now. This is what it is now. Coconut milk. I'm gonna add a little more water just because I let it cook for quite long, so a lot of the water has evaporated. And then I'm gonna add turmeric and curry powder. I'm also gonna add 2 cubes of veggie stock before I forget. There we go. I was gonna blend it first before I added all that, but I forgot. So we're gonna blend it now. Let those cubes melt for a second. In the meantime, while that is melting, I don't know if that's a word, let's put the rice in a container and the quinoa. And then this week, whenever I feel like it, I can add the rice to those veggies. I could even add the rice to the soup, make it really like a meal soup. Guys, I have a lot of rice and a lot of quinoa. What you could also do, which might be even better, maybe I should have done that, is already put the rice, the veggies, and the quinoa in the boxes that you want, like in the meal prep that you want. So let me do that with these 3. So then I don't even have to mix and match anymore. Let me make 3 of those, just so we have it. All right, so I'll do 2 scoops of quinoa, which is a great source of protein and fiber. And then let's grab those veggies from the oven. They look great, by the way. And then we add the veggies. So let's do a little bit of everything. So we have like carrot, zucchini, and Brussels sprouts. Now I do understand, like, I live alone. For me, this is, enough food for a few days. Of course, if you live with your family, you have kids, a partner, you're gonna need more. But for me, this is perfect. I still have a lot of Brussels sprouts. I'm gonna add them, but I'm also gonna use those in my salads for lunch. And so, for instance, now these, when I'm ready to eat them, I can open up the pesto we made and add a dollop of the pesto, and it's gonna be delicious. These might be big portions, but I work out a lot, so I like big portions. Now the rest of these Brussels sprouts, do I have another container for them? Let's put them in here. I can eat those with the rice for lunch, for instance, or another meal. I'll just have a lot of choices that I won't get bored either. I can mix those in with the black bean salad with corn. Whenever you're using curry and curcuma and you're wearing a white shirt, beware. The only thing I haven't made yet that I said I was gonna make was the chia pudding. So let's just make 1 or 2, just so I have that. Tomorrow I'm teaching at 7 a.m., which is quite early. So I'm gonna use the almond milk I bought. Let's make some room. That in the morning, I just scoop the chia pudding out in another bowl because it's quite filling. And honestly, I love also eating it as a pre-workout. And then afterwards, I'll have another snack or like a second little breakfast. So chia pudding is really simple. You put in your chia seeds. And then I like to add parts water, parts plant-based milk. So let's make like the lower bottom. Then let's add some almond milk. It's a new one. I am an Alpro ambassador, and I've also been using it since I was a baby because I was lactose intolerant from when I was really young, so I've always really used it. So we just did the almond milk and the chia. I'm gonna add a little bit of water too. And I'm gonna add some protein powder. Since I already used the chocolate protein powder for the protein balls, let's use vanilla for the chia pudding. And I'm also gonna add some frozen blueberries already, just because then they'll get all mushy. Now before I do that, let me stir already. Give it a good big stir. My sisters actually say I'm not allowed to whistle when I'm around them because they say my mouth looks like a butthole when I whistle. Does it? I don't know. So you try to get rid of some of the chunks and just know that you can also stir it when you eat it later. Then I'm gonna add some of the blueberries. I'm gonna add some seeds when I eat it later or in the morning. I usually eat this in the mornings, but you can always eat this as a snack, post-workout, pre-workout. I like it as an early morning snack or like pre-breakfast, pre-workout. I'm gonna add a little more water just because I wanna get the most out of this because this is not one portion, you know? This is gonna be a couple of portions. You probably also wanna leave a little of room, now I'm thinking, because it's gonna swell. It absorbs the water and it swells, so do you think it's gonna explode? I don't know, we'll see. Usually I make separate little portions. I don't know why, because I'm filming this time. I thought it would look nicer in one. Let's lit it up. There we go. And then the best feeling is when you put it all in your fridge and you see all the different boxes you have and you're just like, oh, I am so freaking prepared. Ooh. So let's do that. Now, before I pack these little meals away, I'm actually gonna open a can of chickpeas and just sprinkle them over there as a little extra pop and a little extra protein. Again, all of this is plant-based, so we wanna make sure that we get enough in. And you can get the protein from the black beans if you use that black bean salad in combination with it. But if you don't, you just wanna make sure that you get them in from something else, right? And especially if you work out a lot, you can never have too much protein. So I'm just gonna spread that out here. There. Let's see, do I have another batch? I'm gonna use the rest. I left a little leftover. I'm using a little leftover for tonight. I also enjoy putting that after I blend the soup to put lentils or chickpeas in the soup. Instead of a crouton, you have the lentil or the chickpea, and it adds a little extra texture and of course protein. So now let's lid them all up. I hope this meal prepping video was helpful for you, and don't forget to download the shopping list below so you can go and get everything you need to do this meal plan at home. You can cook along with me and you're set for the week. Make sure to like, hit subscribe, and if you try one of the meals, comment below, let me know. And hit subscribe for more videos on health, wellness, lifestyle, and all that good stuff. So glad you were here, and I hope I'll see you soon. Bye.